Good morning, First-Plymouth. It is so good to see your faces. Welcome to worship at 11:59. It is our prayer that you, in something that happens here, that you get to see God at work, that your life is healed, that you find connection and community, whoever you are and wherever you come from. And it's always amazing when Josh Hoyer is with us. So, people of God, deep breath, pay attention. The Spirit of God is here because you're here. And now, let us worship.
Well, there's friends that I've had, and there's friends I've lost, and the roads that we walk, well, they may never cross, they may never cross. I may see them in the heavens if I make it there. Lord, if I am forgiven, oh, I'll be waiting there. I'll be waiting there tonight. The road seems lonely. There's a congregation in my head with all my loved ones there, and I remember every good word you said. I'm approaching again those city lights, and even though my heart is weary, I gotta go home and do what's right. I try to do what's right. There's an eagle that flies in the dead of night. I know that he's there, but he's just out of sight. He's just out of sight. In my head with all my loved ones there, and I remember every good word you said. I said, hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey,
Josh Hoyer, yes. Today, our reading comes from the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 13. Let us hear this word. The reason I speak to them in parables is that seeing they do not perceive, and hearing they do not listen, nor do they understand. With them indeed is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah that says, "You will indeed listen but never understand, and you will indeed look but never perceive, for this people's heart has grown dull, and their ears are hard of hearing, and they have shut their eyes, so that they might not look with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and turn, and I would heal them." But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. It is so hard in the hustle and bustle of life to consider what's essential. And so often what happens is that we don't think about it. We are just living our lives, and life happens to us, and it gets clogged up. Life gets clogged up with all sorts of things, the comings and the goings, the life, the ups and the downs, the celebrations and the times of distress. And what happens is that we have little room to sit down and consider what matters most. But then life happens to us. I've seen it most often when I've been called to the bedside of someone who is dying. And in that moment then, all of a sudden what's essential becomes crystal clear. No longer clogged up with all the other stuff of life. All of a sudden, the facing of mortality at that very moment, all of a sudden you kind of know, you know what matters most. Sometimes there's some regret that there hasn't been an awakening to this in the past. At other times, there are words of wisdom for those who are surrounding that beloved one who is facing their own mortality. And there's a talk about, oh, you should pay attention to these things. You should. And I know in my own life as a pastor, I've companioned so many. It has had a deep impact in my life. But we don't have to wait till that moment to think together about what matters most. This Lenten season, we are having a conversation together about essential spirituality. An attempt at kind of tearing down anything that's extra and getting kind of zoned in and focused on what matters most to help our lives with God and in God. A few weeks ago, Dr. Keck began this conversation by helping us to practice the detachment, to practice giving ourselves a little room between kind of all the striving of ours and our lives, to give us to hold it lightly, so that then we can hyper focus on what God is up to right here, right now in our lives. And so we learn to hold it a bit lightly out here. And we said that this practice of detachment is key to all the major spiritual traditions. Then last week, we had an interesting text from Matthew where Jesus tells us something like this: do not worry about your life. And every time I hear that text, it makes me kind of chuckle, because I want to tell God the 37,000 things that I'm worried about my life around. And I want to thank God for, thank you for stating the obvious that I shouldn't worry about those things. But the goal was, and by the way, since Kak is not here, I have the beauty of telling you what I think he said. And he's not here to counter it. He invited us almost to take a communal deep breath and to invite the Spirit's sense of calm within us. To stop spinning the wheel just for a moment and to settle in. And today, there's an invitation to awaken our spiritual vision. So often in life, because of life, our life and our stuff kind of clogs up our spiritual life and our life, and we are constantly in this kind of place where we can no longer see beyond the obvious in front of us and our circumstance, because there's just so much happening around us that we don't no longer see clearly. And the scripture today actually tells us we don't just not see clearly, but we don't hear clearly either. And the disciples are asking Jesus, well, Jesus, why do you speak in parables? And this is right in the middle of an interesting parable in and of itself. It's a parable of the sower, where the sower sows the seed with abandon, and the seed falls in rocky soil, and the seed falls in good soil, and the seed falls in soil that's not there, and all of a sudden the sower keeps on sowing the seed without worries, and the disciples are a bit confused about this, and so the disciples don't get it, and so they kind of stop Jesus and come pull him aside and go, hey, Jesus, can you please explain this to me? And I love that because I love confused disciples, because I'm a confused disciple about 90% of the time. And so Jesus then is trying to say to them, oh, this is why I speak in these ways. And in some ways, he gives them another bit of a riddle of sorts. But we know that so often in our own lives, that which gets our attention is the stories that we share together. If we just slow down enough and we actually see that other, and we share life with them, we share stories, there's so much wisdom in those stories. It's not in the top 3 list of things we have passions around, or in the 5 dogmatic statements, or in the philosophy. No. At the end of the day, what really speaks to where our hearts are the stories we share together. And we should probably, at our best, share more stories around table together. And so Jesus says that this is I speak in parables, so that then there's a certain curiosity that emerges when we begin to engage stories like this. It's less worried about the answer and more concerned about engagement in the day-to-day of life. And so clarity comes. It is like what happens when I take my glasses off, right? When I take my glasses off, you all are not really even here. All I see is a blob of color. I'm so blind I can't even see the pews. And at first, it's not a huge deal, but over time, if I don't wear them, I get significantly disoriented. My life is not better this way. But then thanks to the advances in technology, I now put them on, and now I see you. Now I'm reoriented, my vision restored. So as the text tells us today, sometimes the day-to-day of life, our life circumstances have dulled us to the presence of divine life in us and in the world. That if we are disoriented, and so we need an orientation in the midst of the disorientation. And I would venture to say that one of the reasons why we roll out of bed on Sunday mornings and come to worship is looking for an orientation of some type. But once we have clarity about that need we have in the midst of our life, once we have kind of recognized that we often don't see clearly or hear clearly, then the invitation moves us to another place, and that is to recognize the presence of the divine in all things. This is one of the great teachings of all the major spiritual traditions, the divine in all things. But in order for us to see that, we have to make room for it. This is one of the reasons why during the Lenten season, the ancient tradition is that we give up something. Really, originally it was abstaining from food, right? So there's fasting. Now, I mean, people have all sorts of... Maybe you decided to give up sweets, for example, for Lent. If that's the case, that's awesome. Just ignore the sweets that are in the back of the sanctuary on your way out. Do not mean to tempt you with those. But let's say you decided to fast from food, and let's say you decided to fast from food at lunchtime, and that's great, awesome. But if you, let's say, skip lunch, and what you do is you stay in your desk and you continue your workday, then that actually defeats the purpose of the reason why you chose to skip lunch. Because the reason for abstaining from food or from sweets or from whatever is to make room, to no longer practice that thing that's so pivotal and important to you, and to make room for something that awakens you to the divine life that's all around us. So I can imagine then maybe instead of staying in your desk or going to the restaurant or getting your brown bag out, that you take a walk. On a day like today, you'll feel the sun in your face. Oh, there's divine life in that sun. And if you keep on walking, you might notice a squirrel that's kind of going up the tree, and you might see all of a sudden the neighbor who's working on their yard on a Sunday morning or a Saturday afternoon or a Wednesday at noon. If you keep on walking and you begin to kind of lift up your eyes, you might look at the beautiful sky and see the clouds up in the sky. You might notice that human one that's standing in the corner looking for some food. Oh, the divine life appearing before you. And as you keep on walking, you might take a deep breath a few times as the wind hits your face, and all of a sudden, I mean, your whole body is more alive because you've just opened yourself up to this possibility. You've awakened something deep within your soul that is there about the divine life all around you in all of these things. It's a certain way of thinking. It's a direction of travel that we begin to work towards in these days where the winter is giving into spring. Lisa Miller wrote a book called The Awakened Brain, and she's been doing some research on the way that spirituality affects our brain chemistry. And one of the things she's finding is that folks that do this kind of exercise together begin to develop what she calls a quest orientation towards life. A certain curiosity about life. That it doesn't matter what you're going through in this very moment, that there's something that you begin to develop, that even in the worst of days, in the most difficult of days, now that difficulty and that struggle and that trial and that tribulation and that realistic heartbreak that's coming at you no longer clogs up your pathway towards divine life, but instead you begin to create a pathway towards divine life so that you can lean on that pathway in those most difficult of days. It's a quest orientation. And that curiosity and that light-heartedness and that connection to the divine in all things then begins to go the other way as you pursue it. It begins to fill your soul with possibility. So now you break the pattern of isolation and despair and hopelessness. All of a sudden, you look up. And as the text tells us today, our hearts no longer dull. They sharpened. And we find healing again. We find us hopeful again. Compassionate again. Loving again. Thoughtful again. Connected again and again. So I'm wondering, in this season of your life, I don't know where you are, but I'm wondering, in this season of your life, maybe you've rolled out of bed today because you feel clogged up. I'm inviting you to an essential. To take a long walk today and pay attention. I'm inviting you to be shaken up from this sleep of your story and to see the emerging spirit within deep within your soul. I'm inviting you to look around and know that with every breath you take, the holy is found. Each and every moment. So you can imagine. You can now imagine a better day for you, loved ones, neighbors, community. That's the kind of preparation that I need to receive the mystery of Easter. That's the kind of good news that changes everything. Amen. And so I'll invite you today to come and bring your light. Bring your prayer. And may that bringing of the light, may that embodied process be a reminder to you of that divine life that lives within you and all around you. So come today and pray. Come today and gather. The Spirit of God, it's here. Come.
Well, it came unexpected, just like those big moments do. And there ain't nothing you can do to change it. I feel like the weight of the world coming down on you. Oh, it's hard sometimes to make sense of a bad situation. I'm here to tell you from the other side not to have such high expectations. Oh, yeah. They say that life is fragile. That's just a word until you see it break. Or you feel like you're suffocating. Don't know how much you can take. Right now more than ever, I wish I could hold your hand. Wish you could hear me when I say it's gonna be alright. Some things are not meant for us to understand. Oh, yes. If you be real still, yeah, you will find that my love surrounds you, baby, from the other side. I'm just riding the evening train, riding on the evening train. Oh yes, riding the evening train, riding on the evening train. And I'll be there for you, baby, when you get on board. Be right there for you. Ooh, yes. If you be real still, yeah, you will find that my love surrounds you, baby, from the other side. Just riding riding on the evening train, just riding the evening train, riding on the evening train. Yeah. Yes, if you're down and out and you're on the street and tears are in your eyes, I will comfort you. I play the part, yeah, when darkness comes. The pain is only round like a breeze over troubled water. I'll be there and lay me down like a breeze over troubled water. I'll be there, lay me down. Yeah, sail on, sail on.
So will it surprise you if I told you, this will not surprise you, if you know me at all, that I love the crooked ones? I just love that. I love the crooked candles. You see, part of the beauty of this God that we proclaim is it's a simple yet deeply mysterious thing, which is we believe this God came upon earth and lived our life, shared our flesh. He knows our situation. And so this God can look at us in the eye. This God knows and meets us. This God meets us where we are. And we're not alone. Divine life is here, all around us. Divine life is here. This is why Jesus gave us a meal, divine life in bread and cup, in the most basic stuff of life. And Jesus said that we could eat and drink and we would encounter Jesus. So today on your way out, you can go by the chapel, turn left, go by the chapel, partake of this meal, and you'll have all you need for the journey of life and faith. And then today, maybe take a long walk and pay attention. Or maybe look in the mirror. The divine life before us always. Wake up. Good news is here. Thanks be to God.
Wade in the water till every in the water. God gonna trouble the water. They see no yonder dressed in red. Wade in the water. Must be the children that Moses had. Wade in the water. I said wade in the water. Wade in the water till they meet in the water. God gonna trouble the water. Yeah. Let's see yonder all dressed in white. Wade in the water. Must be the children of the Israelites. Hey, I'm wade in the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children wade in the water. God gonna trouble the water. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Long ways from my home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Alone. Wade in the water, wade in the water. God gonna trouble the water. Oh, yonder just dressed in blue, waiting in the water. Must be the children trying to